Alright, welcome to Razorcast, brought to you by Razor Metal Reviews. I'm Chris.
And today I'm Scatman John.
Scatman John, as you were just demonstrating to me just beforehand.
I always think there's room for a bit of jazz scat.
Oh, it's always room for jazz scat. God bless that man. But today we're bringing you a second episode, and as we did last time, we're going to bring you the news and fresh cuts, and then we'll head on to tell you what we've been listening to in our headphones.
Yeah.
And then today's Horns Up is going to be Linkin Park's Cyber Theory album.
Yeah, massive album.
Oh, brilliant. The thing that got me into rock and metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Yes.
I've got interest in slightly different take on that.
But right, let's head over straight to fresh cuts.
Yeah, cool.
So what's been in the news for you?
Some good, some bad news. Wonderful news is there's new Clutch coming. So new album coming this September called The Book of Bad Decisions.
I hope there's many good decisions in that.
Yeah, well, buying it will be a good decision, no doubt.
Buying it will be a good decision.
Yeah.
They are brilliant.
Great band. What are you hoping for from a Clutch album?
From a Clutch album, that dirty southern vibe, very gritty, but, they're not too overboard as a band. They've always kept it very real.
Yeah.
And, I think I remember buying, is it Robot Hives?
Robot Hive, yeah.
I've got that somewhere.
Yeah.
I love that band.
Yeah, I just want riffs. Riffs and more riffs and some riffs. And then I want Neil Fallon now and again going into his crazy little mode. And like he does on Firebirds in Psychic Warfare, I just want that.
Just that.
I just want that for forever, really.
Just that as a whole album, or?
I could do an album of that.
Yeah?
Yeah, just that 15 seconds where he goes bonkers. Just that for a whole album.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, talking of new albums, there's quite a few new albums being announced about bands being in the studio and stuff.
Exciting.
Apparently almost finished. The Offspring.
Really?
They have a new album coming out.
Holy shit sack.
Yeah. So they've been keeping that quiet.
They have, yeah. Jesus.
But, they've got don't know the details on that one.
Yeah.
When it's coming out. Apparently all I know is it's almost done.
That could be
in the next 2-3 months, I reckon.
That could be interesting or terrible.
It could be. To see if they keep it back to the vibes throughout the late 90s, wasn't it?
I just really hope that they don't, because later material after sort of Americana, it got very kind of we're middle-aged blokes singing from the point of view of a 15-year-old angsty kid.
Yes.
And it's like just be old blokes.
Exactly.
It's all right. You can be punk and be old. Like, Iggy Pop is punk as fuck and he's old as shit.
Yeah. Oh, big time. He's always been like that. I mean, he was doing...
his own skin is zombifying. He's being mummified by his own skin.
Right before us.
Yeah, exactly.
As well on the new music, Blink-182 are back in the studio, apparently.
With Matt Skiba again.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, I'm excited for that. I love that last album.
California was
amazing.
Good.
Like, I've never been a big fan of Blink-182.
Right.
But that album was really good.
Yeah, it was a good album.
Really enjoyed it. And I'm going to make you spunk now. Slipknot.
What?
Going back into the studio.
Get in there.
And apparently they put a tweet up saying 2019. That was all they put up.
I follow Sean Crahan on Instagram and various other bits, and he has been tweeting and sending out weird little pictures of things that look odd, like little mannequin, half a mannequin's face, or like a doll, or a mask, or something like that, and you can't quite tell what's going on. So I don't know whether or not because he tends to be the sort of driving force of Slipknot,
he is,
really.
yeah, he really is.
So he's obviously got the bit between his teeth and wants to get back in there.
Sean and Corey's kids have just been jamming together. And
I saw that. That was cool.
I saw the video of that online.
That was cool.
So that's that. And another one getting into the studio together. I don't know if they've got an album planned or what's going on. Wes Baldwin and Travis Barker.
Oh yeah, I did hear about this.
They're in the studio together mucking about, but they reckon there could be a tease of a new project there. Yeah,
well, I actually saw I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet the other day from Travis Barker saying that he's got a new album coming. Yeah. And I'm almost certain, I flicked through, to be honest, like Travis Barker, I like him and I like what he does in Blink. Yeah. He's a great drummer, but he's done so many odd projects
big
that
time.
I just go meh, 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 and flick past him. But I'm pretty sure there was a cover shot as well. So
really?
I think it's probably more than just a bit of kind of playing around in the studio.
Yeah.
I think it was actually recorded material. So
that's all right then. And I think I've got one other for the world of new albums.
Yeah.
Working on their debut album. We've listened to their EPs, Puppy.
Oh, yes. I did know that they were working on an album. When we went to see them, they said that finishing the tour, going straight into the studio to get it recorded. So,
well, apparently that's all set, ready to be released in the summer.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
That's my summer sorted.
I have heard 2 of the tracks off the new album because they played it live when they played Joiners.
Oh, brilliant.
And they're big songs.
I had tickets to go to that.
Yeah, you missed out.
Well, did I miss out because I ended up spending £200 on a Metallica ticket?
Well, okay, fair dues. Yeah, fair. But it was a good night, and yeah, they dropped 2 new tracks. They played 2 new tracks from the upcoming album, and they were big, riffy, Sabbathy kind of
big
songs.
time.
They were good. They were really good. So I'm really looking forward to it.
You got anything else in the way of the news?
Yeah, a couple of things. Killswitch, unfortunately, they've had to pull out of a chunk of they've had to cancel a chunk of their US tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jesse Leach has had to go in for throat surgery.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so they may be out for a little while, although it'd be...
I hope not, because I'm going to see them in the summer in Grasspop.
Yeah. Well, keep your fingers crossed. They've cancelled the tour, the US tour at the minute, because they want to get him in there,
If it's Jesse, and they've been...
Well, this
together.
Is the thing, yeah. Jesse, could Howard step in? I mean, yeah, he could do. They've always sort of been mates, haven't they? They've been pally. They've even Jesse and Howard have always been pally. So maybe if they were on the same bill, I'm sure and Jesse was out. I'm sure
they're not on the same bill, but I'm hoping.
Yeah,
that's all I can do. Is just hope that he can go off and tour with Killswitch for the summer festivals.
Yeah. So the last bit of news that I had is Linkin Park related-ish.
Okay.
So Mike Shinoda is releasing his debut solo album on the 15th of June. I saw this. Yeah, it's called Post Traumatic, and he said that a lot of the material on it is going to be Chester Bennington related. Yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think. Mike Shinoda's solo albums, I mean, if you go back to Fort Minor, that was very good. Mm-hmm. So I hope it's on the sort of same lines as those. Very sort of...
Executioners, that sort of stuff.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be.
I don't.
I think... that's my problem. Don't get me wrong, I think that this is clearly a project he needs to do to get things off his chest and to work through the stuff.
I think so. I think once you've had this... give this another year or so, and then hopefully they can get back on track. Because in saying that, Linkin Park never said they were splitting up.
No, I think they should. I'll be honest with you. I don't think anyone could take Chester's place. I don't think that they should. No. I also don't think that. I don't. Linkin Park, to be honest, have really fallen out of favour with me. I liked Minutes to Midnight or whatever it was called. Yeah, Minutes to Midnight. Saw them on that tour. Liked that. Everything after that until they did the hunting season. Yeah, I was like, no, whatever. Yeah,
just I think a lot of
mushy
people,
rubbish.
I think a lot of people were on that bandwagon from.
Yeah, it was just.
We'll talk about that. I'm sure.
The problem is, I think Mike Shinoda is the mushy one. I think Mike Shinoda is the one that wants to write.
You say that
acoustic-y.
I very much know that Chester was sticking up for everything that was being released. And
he also threatened to. I don't want to go into.
No.
Take the piss, but he was threatening to fight fans and stuff over. He wasn't in a good place. He wasn't clearly.
Unfortunately, that happened.
Yeah.
The only last bit of news I have was the hopes of a System of a Down album could be delayed.
Yeah.
Apparently, Darren Malenkin has come out and said that they've not been all on the same page. Right. So they've had a bit of troubles with what they want to release and how the writing's going. So
I always feel like System of a Down are a band who thrive on the fact that they're not on the same page. The rhythm section and the guitars and what Serge wants to do are all over the place. This
is it. This is what we'd have thought. But with Darren releasing the new Scars on Broadway stuff, he came out and said that it's basically the System of a Down stuff that they never wanted to release.
Oh, okay.
So
it's his stuff.
Essentially.
It's his stuff he wrote for the system and they said no thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's where a bit of dispute is, and well, we can only wait and see what happens in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the news. So we're now going to talk about what we've been listening to.
Yeah, what's been on our headphones?
What's been in your headphones then, sir?
Lots of stuff, actually.
I've been the same.
I haven't managed to, unlike the last time we recorded when I was literally battering through 3 albums just on a loop and just going, oh, Mole are so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to sort of listen to a bit more stuff, a bit more singles and things rather than just albums. But some really good stuff's come across. Cancer Bats. New Cancer Bats album.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's back to old.
It's brilliant. It's just...
It's everything you want from Cancer Bats and more.
Yeah, I just...
And the fact that there was, as you know, you pointed out to me during the week, there was no hype around it. It was just...
Just dropped it, yeah. Boom.
There you go.
There you go.
There's an album. Done.
I thought it was great. I think it's punk as hell to do it that way.
Oh, it is.
I also think that, like, the album, like... My favourite Cancer Bats album is probably not their most widely thingy. Excuse me. My favourite one is Dead Set on Living.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just the chunkiest. It
is chunk.
It's the one with the most kind of full-on metal riffs and stuff in it.
It's definitely full-on metal. Which was the one with Snake Mountain on?
Hell Destroyer?
Hell Destroyer. That was my favourite.
Yeah. That's most people's favourite, I believe.
Yeah.
It
was chunk.
This album is...
This one.
The amount of riffs in this album is astonishing.
Yeah.
Like, I know I banged on about that, but Believe from Within album the other week, and that has got tons of riffs. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it changes every 30 or 40 seconds, and you get another riff, and you're like, oh! I just spent like 40 minutes listening to it going, oh! And no! Oh!
And how many times did you need to go and refill the Kleenex box?
Oh, I just...
just all over it.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
It is
really
brilliant.
Fucking good.
Another one. I've been a bit sceptical of this one. Perfect Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've listened to it and think it's just a chill album.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Tool. It's not.
No, it's not.
There's bits on it where it's quite. It's political. It's very political.
Oh, very much.
There's a lot of kind of. There's obviously a message to this. The content is. The sound of it is very chilled and relaxed and nice and kind of ethereal and wavy and kind of lovely.
Yeah.
Like a nice warm blanket, but. The lyrics and the content of it is really snarky and
very
angry, but he sings it in a way that's so bloody lovely that it's like
that's how he's always been, hasn't it?
He's got a voice like honey, hasn't he?
He has. It just melts.
Just lovely.
It just warm right down inside.
But I do like it. I must admit, I don't feel I can really comment on how brilliant it is or isn't at the minute because I've probably listened to it twice all the way through.
I've listened to it twice now, and it just is just a very chilled album, and you've just got to appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, I think it's an album that once I've listened to it 4 or 5 times, I'm gonna really like. I think I'm gonna really like it. I just can't. I can't really say, it's brilliant.
I think you have to get yourself in it's like one of those mood albums. You have to get yourself into a mood to be able to just, wind down and really have something to chill out to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What else have you been listening to? I've got loads here.
Perfect Circle, which I've written twice on my list for some reason. It's clearly affected me more than I thought. A couple of singles that I've listened to actually that I really, really liked, and one that I found really interesting. New Touche Amore single.
Yeah. I did see that they had released. I haven't listened to it yet, actually.
Yeah, it's called Green.
Yes.
And I don't know about you. I don't know what your feelings are on that last album, Stage 4.
That was a tough album. That was.
I loved it.
I love it. But the message behind it, about his mother.
It was not an easy listen.
No.
But I loved it. It really just. It's such an emotional gut punch.
Oh, it was.
Was obsessed with it.
Oh yeah, I was for about a month or so, but I much preferred their first album to that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, very much so. But this is very much carrying on.
Well, Green very much. It sounds like Touche Amore, and they are bloody brilliant at what they do. It's a bit pacier than some of the stuff on Stage 4. It sounds a bit more upbeat.
Oh, it is very much more upbeat.
It sounds a bit bouncier and a bit more summery, if you like, but it's still got that kind of grit and that.
And this is the start of the season where I start looking for my summer tracks.
It's a good one. It's a real
good one to have.
Yeah.
Another good single that's dropped. Actually, it came out the day before we'd done the first podcast, but I didn't see it until after we'd just done the podcast.
Okay.
Bury Tomorrow.
Oh,
Black Flame.
Yeah.
I am in love with that.
I thought you might be.
Yeah, well, I've been a big fan of them. They're a local band to us here, so and I've seen them 12 times now. And happy to go and see them again at Grass Pop. So with that new single, very promising for the new album.
I'm gonna disappoint you and go meh. Yeah, I really like Bury Tomorrow.
Is it a very sort of generic sound for them?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know whether it's not. I don't necessarily think it's their fault, because I think they have done something new. They're not doing the same old metalcore stuff that everyone else is just churning out. This is new. It's a new sound. They're pushing themselves, and I respect what they're doing. Yeah. It just hasn't landed with me. It's not hit me in the feels.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a song that's going to hit anybody in the feels. But I think if being a massive sort of Bury Tomorrow fan, and keeping with the Bury Tomorrow sound, I think it's brilliant. I think fair play to them, and they're very good at what they do. We'll just have to see how the new
I think it's decent. Yeah, I compare everything they do to like Lionheart, and then I'm just like, you've done that. Just do that.
I'm good. Different.
Yeah, but
that's fair enough. What else have you been listening to?
A couple of the other singles. A band that I really didn't give any time to, and a few people have told me to. There's a guy I used to go to uni with who was like, you really need to listen to this band, and I never did. And I think it was listening to Mole the other week.
Yeah.
That mix of kind of alternative rock and sort of pop and black metal.
Yeah.
I've
been listening to a lot of that recently.
Yeah, it just clicked with me, and I heard the new single called Honeycomb from Deafheaven.
Oh right, yeah.
It's brilliant. It is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
It's 11.5 minutes long. It's not really a single.
It's a proggy one, is it?
Yeah, but it is so worth listening to. It's
is it another sort of Journey sort of single?
Oh, it's definitely a journey. It's heavier than the Mole album.
Really?
Yeah, there's much more. There's much more black metal. The black metal is like still got that shoegaze element to it.
Yeah.
And that kind of those beautiful passages of just like tinkly guitars and stuff like that, and those atmospherics. But when it kicks in and it goes black metal, it's blast beats and and full on.
Well, that sounds like one of the bands I've been listening to, Kalmaha. Now, I've listened to them in the past. Very black metal-y, very thrashy.
Yeah.
So good. They've just released a new album this week called Palo.
Yeah.
And if you love your thrash, but you like it heavy, go for it.
Yeah.
It's aggression, it's the sweeping thrash sound, as well as elements of black metal in there, and it's just an incredible album. I've really got high expectations. This could make my top 5 in the end of the year.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I probably should give it a listen then.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one for you.
Yeah. I'll give it a listen.
Yeah, definitely. And another band I've been listening to, from All Things Good from Hertfordshire, is a band called Vendetta. Okay. Now, Hertfordshire released the things like Enter Shikari, Gallows, Sixth, and most notably probably Deep Purple.
Yeah, okay.
But no, this new band coming through called Vendetta.
Yeah.
Female fronted.
Yeah.
By Megan Target, and she has a growl.
Yeah.
Like, It's not quite.
Do you know what? I think I might have seen a video pop up or something. Or did you send me it?
I might have done.
Video. She's just in like a summer dress, and then she is growling and screaming like.
I can't remember if I sent you that one. I might have done.
It might have been you or the other Chris. There's plenty.
There's plenty of Chris's.
We associate with far too many Chris's. It's confusing.
There will be a Chris festival at some point.
There will be.
But no, Vendetta are very tech metal-y, but with a whole lot of aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And she can go from doing some guttural vocals to clean singing, and it's just, I have done nothing but spunked all over this EP. It's brilliant. The EP is called Pale Glow. I think I've put the review up on the webpage during the week.
Yeah.
And again, if this band, keep along those lines and actually get around to releasing a debut album,
yeah,
I think big things for these guys.
Yeah, cool.
Big things.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Probably.
Controversial one. What do you think of the new Skindred album?
Before we go on to Skindred,
I saw them last week.
Before we go on to Skindred, I've got one more single that I just want to touch on. Just because talking about when you said controversial, I thought, maybe I'll throw this in there. Well, you've just heard it because I've literally before we started recording it, I've literally just played you the new Bullet for My Valentine single, Piece of Me.
That is better than the first single that they've just dropped.
Yeah, it is better than the first one. I absolutely agree. The contemporary thing makes sense now. I kind of see where they're going.
Like you were saying earlier, the whole tech metal thing.
It is tech metal. It is the whole start of it. The guitar riffing, the tone. It's Architects. It
very much is Architects.
Yeah, it's Architects with Bullet's kind of slightly more saccharine take on it. It's like sweeter kind of vocals.
Sweeter thrash sort of thing.
I'm not 100% on it.
I'm not sold.
I'm not 100% sold on it. I like that they're trying new things. It's late on.
It's a risk, and I think this late on they need to be doing risks. And I don't know. With the first single that dropped compared to this, much better. But if it goes in between the two, I'm not going to be looking forward to the new album. Yeah,
I'm dubious about the new album.
Yeah,
I don't know whether or not this is a cynical move to make music that is on trend.
Not on trend as such. No. I know. It's just I can't see this being a great album at all.
No, neither can I. But anyway, there is new stuff from Bullet for My Valentine. If you are a fan and you think I want to hear them try to cover a Architects song badly, then by all means go and listen to it.
Yeah. But talking of controversy, as we were just saying, Skindred dropped their new album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, I love it. I really love it.
I had your brother text me saying that he had his missus on the other end dancing to it.
Yes. And that is perfect. That is exactly the point. His missus doesn't like metal. Stephen's played her all sorts of stuff.
Do you know what? I said this in the review. I said if you want entry-level rock, this is probably a good starting place.
Yeah. I think it's way better than that. I think it's way better than being classed as entry-level rock. I think a band like Skindred, they have, for years now, they've been the band that everyone goes, I fucking love Skindred. They're the greatest live band, and yet they always just play the O2 Guildhall in Southampton.
Well, that's it, and that's where I saw them last week.
Yeah.
And they
was it sold out?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was
a sold-out gig.
Thank God for that.
And it was fantastic.
Because the last
time they are a party band. They get on stage, they get the crowd hyped. And it was brilliant. And then, they really needed to get on stage and hype things up because CKY were on beforehand. Yeah. And growing up, I've loved CKY. Yeah, they were a bit crap on the night. They just had no sort of life in them.
Yeah. The thing is, with Skindred, this album is a massive change. It is massive. A big change.
It is huge change. And I think what my problem is I've been sceptical in the fact that I've been wanting it to keep to the reggae sort of sound.
Yeah.
But I think they're starting to come away from that now.
I think, if you look at... Obviously, you're a Metallica super fan.
Yeah.
So, Metallica...
They played Metallica live as well.
Oh yeah, you told me. Metallica did Kill 'Em All. You know, the first 4 albums, they basically covered everything that you can cover as a thrash metal band.
Yeah.
In those things, they perfected it. They nailed thrash music.
I think I know where you're going with this.
They said, right, this is what we're doing. This is thrash. We fucking completed it. What else can they do? Skindred had their completely own style, and they tweaked it and they moved it and they messed around with it, and they upped the reggae factor, and like things like shark bites and dog fights. There was tons of that kind of reggae like bounce and stuff in it. You know, they upped the metal when they did Union Black.
Yeah.
They're not a band that want to sit on their laurels. And do you know what? I think they're actually hard done by Skindred, because I think over the last few years, like you said, you saw them at Southampton Guildhall. Yeah. I saw them 2 years or a year before on the Kill the Powers tour.
Yeah, I was there as well.
At the Guildhall. That was when While She Sleeps, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't sold out.
No, it wasn't.
And that was the album before. And then before that, Union Black. It was like the Guildhall. And they consistently put out good material.
Yeah,
they put on the best live show of probably any British band there is. And yet they're still playing the O2 the Guildhall in Southampton. Yeah, they're still not selling.
They haven't taken that step yet to be able to go to, say, Wembley.
Yeah, and do you know what? I don't think that is their fault.
I don't think that's their fault.
I think that people just take it for granted. They take Skindred for granted. They go, they're always going to bang out good music. They're always going to bang, but because they tour a lot and they're very consistent, people kind of go, I can't be bothered going to see him this time. I'm going to see him next time. Yeah. Or I'm not going to buy the album. I'll Spotify it or whatever. Yeah. And do you know what? They've changed their sound, and I think that album is called Big Things. Yeah. And I think that's exactly what they want to do with it. They want big things. They want big things for it, yeah. They want and should have their music on Radio 1.
Should be.
Because
without a doubt. We've
all said it for years. Whenever the conversation comes up, what metal band could cross over into the mainstream and be on Radio 1 and play Glastonbury?
Skindred are a big
Skindred
part
are
of that.
there all the time because they're so diverse and they've got so much to them.
Oh yeah, big time.
That you could they could appeal to so many people, and they haven't got their chance. So do you know what? I think they're a little bit of a fuck you to people. Yeah. That over the last, in our kind of community, a little bit of a fuck you.
What about when you look at the fact that say Download, when they've played main stage, they've been always very low down.
Yeah. Why the hell is Skindred overlooked all the time? Yeah. And I genuinely think this album, experimentation wise, it's fucking off the scale. Yeah. I can hear Dizzy Rascal, I can hear Black Sabbath on it, AC/DC, I can hear Kasabian and The Prodigy on that album. There's bits where and then to end with an acoustic version of one of their tracks,
which is a very sentimental song,
and it starts like Bon Jovi. He sounds like Bon Jovi, like John Bon Jovi on it. Honestly, I was listening to it, I was like, this is a Bon Jovi track. Like the absolute stones on the guys to just go, yeah, we know you're expecting dance hall bangers. Yeah. We're going to give you some pop. We're going to give you some different stuff. We're going to change our guitar tone. We're going to drop the ragger out of it a little bit. We're going to bring in some and the rapper in. I think it sounds like Tiny Temper, the rapper in it. I just love it. I think it's fucking brave, and I think it's.
I think as you said, I think I've always kept in the sense of they're going to drop the reggae stuff. They're going to be a bit crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to go into it with that expectation, I think, I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Big time.
I think this is a little bit of a case. The comparison I'm going to make here is not supposed to sound as detrimental to them as it is.
Yeah.
This seems like a point where Bring Me the Horizon went from Sempiternal to That's the Spirit. I just think that That's the Spirit. It was trying to do the same thing. They're trying to appeal to a mass audience, but in order to do so, they just turned everything down.
Oh, they did, big time.
Whereas I think Skindred have gone, we're going to change our sound and we are going to make it more palatable, but they've still been punk as fuck about it and gone,
big time.
We're going to throw drum and bass in and grime and AC/DC and this and that. We're going to shove that all in your face, and you'll love it.
Yeah.
And the chorus is on it. Benji is a fucking star, and I genuinely think that this is the best he sounded.
I think this is the most. I've said it before with other bands, radio ready.
Yeah.
And it is, and I hope all the success to them, because they've got so many songs in their back catalogue which they could go to a festival or, at least in Wembley,
They deserve to be playing big stages.
They do.
They totally do, and I really hope that people don't... Do you know what, actually? I hope that this does hit mainstream ears and people gravitate towards it, because... I know there's going to be so many people in the metal community that are going to go snidey about this album and go, it's not fucking metal enough. And do you know what? Fuck you. If you don't like it...
That's probably what I've been like on this, big time. I've been very sort of snidey in the fact that, I know they could do the metal and stuff like that, but they've stripped it back.
Yeah, you come in with an expectation.
Yeah.
I 100% get that. I hope this hits mainstream ears. I hope people pick up on it, because as a metalhead, if somebody said to me, what band would you really like to make it massive? Yeah. Skindred would be up there all the time for me.
All the time.
They'd be within a handful of bands that I'd like, them and Architects and people that I'd love for them to be playing.
Do you know what's the good thing with it? With the fact that they've got the reggae and, elements to it, they are not a novelty band.
No, 100% they're not.
Far from it.
No, 100%. They're way too good at what they do to be classed as that, and I think I'm really hoping this album propels them onto that next stage.
Really hope so.
Big tings coming for Skindred. Big
tings. But another band I've been listening to this week, I've had to import these albums from America.
Right.
80s hair metal sounding band called Salem's Lot.
Okay.
So they released their new album, and I couldn't wait to hear it, so I had to import them from America.
Fair.
So they're only a small band out in Hollywood, California.
Yeah. Sunset Strip band.
Pretty much.
Yeah, cool.
But they play the likes of the Whiskey A Go Go.
Yeah.
So I've been in chats with them, and brilliant band.
Yeah.
They are so 80s, it's unreal.
What are they called?
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot.
Yeah. So they are very sort of hair metal riffs for days.
Is this the band that we spoke about and I asked pre or post GR? Yeah, okay, yeah.
But they have such heavy elements to them as well.
Okay.
Although I'm still in love with the fucking ballad on that, Shattered to Pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I love ballads.
yeah, I don't mind a good ballad. There is something to be said about a good ballad.
Oh, there is. But no, the album is so good, and although they're saying they're not touring as such, big time over America or anything like that at the moment, they are just playing local shows in Hollywood at the moment. But I really hope this band gets a break, because they deserve it so much. One other thing that we've been listening to as a collective.
Oh yeah,
last
do you know
Saturday,
what? I forgot that we were even going to talk about this, and I don't know how, because it was
a great night.
Fucking phenomenal, wasn't it?
Although I was hanging out my ass from the Skindred gig.
Yeah, you were a bit rough.
I was.
You were a bit delicate, bless you.
Oh man, I was. But we went to Brixton Academy to go and watch Trivium with the fucking best lineup ever.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Code Orange, Power Trip, Venom Prison. Oh.
It was quite spicy, wasn't it?
It was quite spicy.
It was.
And although we didn't quite make it in time for Venom Prison.
Do you manage to catch
the last song. Caught the last song.
I've heard really good things.
They sounded phenomenal, just via that last song.
Yeah.
And being so hyped up and stuff. So good. But I think, for me, my favourite of the night was Power Trip.
It was always going to be, wasn't it?
It was always going to be. I came into this expecting good things, although there was 2 stoppages throughout on there.
Yeah, apparently I heard a little bit more about that. So one of them, apparently somebody had a seizure, so they had to stop. Medical team had to come in and get them out. And the other part, people were rucking. People were just fighting. So the bouncers had to get in there and physically drag 2 people out. So
it's not a good look for the metal community, is it?
No, not really. But
aside from that, Power Trip were just so good.
They were. Do you know what? I didn't. That album, yes, I've listened to it a couple of times. I really like it, but I hadn't going, oh my god, it's great. After listening to it live, it sounds
So
much better live as well.
It has
so
more
ready for a live environment.
Yeah, it has that thicker, fuller sound to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that guitar tone live is epic.
Yeah.
And they were fucking good.
And then carrying on to Code Orange.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what amazed me about Power Trip is a band that... It's the first album, isn't it?
That was... second album.
Second album.
That's
their second album. They're fairly unknown in the UK.
Fairly unknown.
People were losing their shit.
Yeah,
I know there was the two stoppages, but the pit was big, and it was mental. People were losing their minds to
I was
it.
suffering from whiplash from the night before at Skin Dread.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as they played Metallica, fuck me, my head was bouncing off them walls.
Yeah.
But I still managed to get my head bang on, and I fucking love that band.
Yeah, they were really
have
good.
So much like groove and thrash and just everything.
They were really good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And then straight from them, Code Orange.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're heavy, really heavy,
were
really
so
good.
heavy. But the only thing I find with that band is where they're so mistiming. Yeah, the timing's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep a rhythm for headbanging.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're not a headbang band. They're a break stuff band.
They are.
What I noticed, I must admit, is I was expecting huge pits. Huge pits. It really seemed, and I know obviously a lot of these people were Trivium fans, like
So there was a lot of Trivium fans. There.
Yeah. So a lot of people went for Trivium, so there was a lot of Trivium fans there. And at Code Orange, half the people in the crowd were there with shit-eating grins on their faces, going, "Oh my god, I can't fucking believe I'm finally getting to see Code Orange or whatever," and just going, "Yay!" And half of the crowd were shitting themselves.
Well, shitting themselves, and then I think there were like quite a majority of them like, "What is this? Holy shit!"
Yeah.
This is...
people were genuinely terrified or genuinely ecstatic. It was so diversive.
It was, but there was no sort of real sort of bouncing or, as you said, pits or anything like that. It was just very static, just people in awe of what was going on in front of them.
Until Bleeding in the Blur, and then it was just like...
Yeah, everyone lost their shit to that.
Just like a 3,000 person karaoke
It
thing.
was.
I loved it when like just red lights, stage, and then doom.
That's it.
I was like,
I think we looked at each other and just like, oh shit, here it goes.
And I tell you what, like they were great. They were all fucking superb. But Reba is an absolute star.
Is a star.
She is equally kind of terrifying. Yeah. Kind of. Just sort of. You can't take your eyes off what she's doing. You can't. And the way that they finished, and like the way she just slammed her guitar on the floor and stormed off. I was like, yes, that is so fucking punk. That is so like. We've just turned up, kicked the shit out of you, and now we're off. Cheers.
That's exactly it.
It was brilliant.
But who's their bassist? Fucking throwing his bass around and
he's a loon, isn't he?
High kicking everything.
Yeah.
Like luckily there was no one around him because he would have genuinely
taken someone's head clean off.
Somebody off. Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah, they sounded superb as well.
And like, I'll tell you what,
sound-wise,
I was so blown away by Trivium as well.
Yeah, I was just going to get onto them. Do you know what? Like, it goes to show. Me and Stephen were talking about this the next day. It goes to show the class of a band that when the chips are down and like you're up against it, you come out fighting. And firstly, for Trivium to be brave enough to take Venom Prison, Power Trip, Code Orange on tour in the first place.
Well, I was going to say very diverse from what they are,
and also. 3 bands who are massively on a hot streak.
Yeah.
Massive swell of support for them, massive like albums, all of them. To do that is ballsy. Well, to be fair, it goes to show that they fucking love the music scene. Like,
Matt Heffy is all for the music scene.
Yeah, he's always repping for.
He was
for
the
new
one
bands.
who got together and said, "I want these 3 bands to tour with us."
Yeah.
And how they managed to get that together, I do not know.
Metal Hammer.
Yeah, Metal Hammer had a massive.
So. But yeah, it was superb to see that band and to see Trivium go, right, they've thrown the gauntlet down. And most most big bands would have been blown off stage by those three bands.
Oh yeah, big time.
They would have really struggled to come out and do something special. And Trivium came out and went, that was all brilliant, that was great, but this is our fucking show.
Yeah.
And
they laid it down.
Oh, they laid waste to Brixton Academy.
It was just incredible.
Yeah.
You had your sing-along moments, but that new stuff...
Yeah, it sounds so big.
Oh, it's huge. Like, if that's the way they're going to keep going and, like, evolving as a band, I'm all on board.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the important thing. They really need a 2-album streak. They really need the next album to be strong. They keep faltering. They release a great album. They release, like, Shogun. And then... well, actually, they've had one. So they had Shogun and then In Waves. Was it Shogun and In Waves? Or?
Yeah, it was Shogun and In Waves. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah. But then it was like Vengeance Falls.
Yeah.
And then Silence in the Snow. Having said that, I said to Stephen afterwards, do you know what? I don't like Silence in the Snow at all.
I don't.
But Until the World Goes Cold live is massive.
It's huge.
It's made for those stages. That's why they wrote that song. You can tell. It's just hearing everyone sing it. It's great. It's so good.
One other advice: no more tweeting to Paolo. It's brilliant.
Yeah, the set list was absolutely great. And it was superb that my cousin James got his first metal gig.
Oh, it was
under his belt. Dr. Dibden.
He's so Dr. Dibden,
who dragged me in every pit that he could find. His first metal gig.
I didn't think he was. I thought he was going to go into that and just stand with me because I was very.
Nah. The one that we were in that started to close up a little bit way through the thingy, and then a massive one opened at the front. So we went in that, and when Shatter in the Skies Above came on, he lost his shit.
Yeah,
he was like a feral beast. It was brilliant. Honestly, it was fantastic. It was like watching a little sort of blonde-haired Wolverine.
While Stephen was somewhere standing near pretty much. And fair play to him.
Yeah, but fair play to Trivium.
Fair play to them.
I've seen them a few times, and that is by an absolute country mile the best I've ever seen them.
Best I've seen them ever.
They looked like they were having great fun. Their new drummer sounds fucking spot on.
Yeah. Their whole band is so spot on.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And if they carry on this form live and on record, then they should, touch wood, finally get that big spot at that big festival.
They need it.
Or whatever, because if they can release albums like Sin and the Sentence, they are the people that should be taken over from Metallica. They should be taking the gauntlet and running with it.
And to be fair, they're another band that have now got a back catalogue a mile long.
Yeah.
And should be high up on those main stages now.
Yeah, definitely. And you could tell from Brixton, from the reaction, that the UK is 100% behind Trivium.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
And he even said at the end that it's his second home.
Yeah. Well, we picked him up before the US did, really.
Yeah.
So
that's that.
Yeah.
Well,
great night.
That's what we've been listening to. So over to Horns Up.
Yeah.
Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory album.
Hybrid Theory, yeah.
Now, going into this...
What was this, 2000?
2000. October 2000. And, the name of the album actually was the name of the band.
Oh, they were called Hybrid Theory, were they?
Yeah, they were called Hybrid Theory. And then they were going to change their name to Linkin Park, but spelt Lincol.
Like Abe Lincoln.
Like Abe Lincoln. But apparently, because they couldn't afford the domain, they had to change it to Linkin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, bit of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But
because Linkin Park, the actual place, is fairly renowned for being somewhere that's like really rough and has lots of murders.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
I think that was probably the reason that they.
Well, and apparently it was just because they couldn't afford the domain name for it.
Yeah, but I think that's the reason they chose Linkin Park in the first place.
But no, this is an album that got me front and centre for rock and metal music in the end.
Yeah.
This was the downfall of me.
This was it.
This was it. So this, at the time, I was a kid listening to sort of pop music and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this came along, and I think most notably, I think the first single that got me into this was Paper Cup.
Yeah.
That, like I've never heard anything like it, and it was incredible. And I think a band that took essentially popular music at the time, and had a slightly rougher sounding to it, was, you know, a whole new experience for me, and something I somewhat gripped to straight away.
Yeah.
And then they had their ballad for In the End, and you could never escape that song.
No. And I damn well tried, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You were never a fan of it?
I'll come on to it in a minute, but yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, but, you know, you could never get away from it, and it was just something that connected with me wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And there was just single after single on this. Cause,
you weren't the only person that connected with this album. Connected massively.
Massively, with a lot of people my age. Yeah.
It was a angsty teen anthem.
It pretty much was. This was, you know, say what, 6-7 years later, My Chemical Romance came about. It's the same for that generation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know it's only a 6-7 years different, calling it a different generation, but, you know, for me, you know, it was my Chemical moment. You know?
Yeah. So many. I mean, this is the thing. Hybrid Theory is that album for so many people. It's the album that got so many people into metal music and into heavier stuff. My brother, I think, is like, it was one of his first albums. Because, like you said, it's a pop album with heavy guitars on it and some screaming.
That's exactly it.
It's so poppy.
Here's the thing I want to ask you. So this was always linked to the new metal movement.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
What, that it is or isn't new metal?
Yeah.
Yes, but I think it's new metal in the sense that, you know how now metalcore is kind of a dirty word. Yeah, very. Because metalcore, modern metalcore anyway, because like there is obviously the argument that
there's so many
variants
and stuff.
But modern metalcore, so the likes of Trivium when they first came about, and they were unfairly lumped in with that, but Killswitch and Unearth and bands like that, it got to a pinnacle where like End of Heartache came out and it was like, holy fucking shit, this music is amazing. And then you got the likes of All That Remains and things like that, just banging out utter fucking drivel.
Yeah.
And it got poppier and poppier and poppier.
Yeah.
This album kind of was that.
Yeah.
So new metal kind of bimbled along and become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And then you got...
I think this was...
got this, and then you get Cold Chamber and all that kind of ridiculous, like painting your face like a fucking idiot. If you took it
from the fact that new metal at the time was seen as like Korn, you know, they were the benchmark, essentially. But this was a very easy to digest, you know, like entry level.
Yeah, this was new metal. So, like you say, Korn, even back in 2000, like Korn was still a band
big time,
were quite awkward and angular, and your average suburban kid, or like, you know, middle class kid. A lot of them, and particularly if they weren't into metal and they were into sort of pop music and stuff, to listen to fucking Daddy or do you know what I mean? Like, to hear a band and go, oh yeah, this is some of their music, and listen to Korn, it would have scared the piss out of them.
Yeah,
like it was too much stuff.
It was.
What new metal? What Linkin Park and Hybrid Theory did for new metal is it boxed it in a lovely package.
It did.
It had a nice little package on it so that people that didn't like big, scary, loud music could go, oh, this looks nice, it looks lovely. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's different, there's some shouty stuff on there. And then maybe found their way into heavier music, maybe started listening to shit music, but that's up to them, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, my relationship with Hybrid Theory has changed a lot over the years. Back in 2001, when In the End was all over the fucking place.
Absolutely everywhere.
I was at college and I was walking around with the newest Nas album in my headphones and DMX's Great Depression and things like that, which was all, yes, it's aggressive music, so I should have liked it. I just found it whiny. Like,
I think it was. I think in a lot of ways, this was an emotional album, purely for Chester, really, because it's been said that a lot of it has a link with his past, with like child abuse.
Yeah, that makes a huge amount of sense.
Social isolation, the divorce of his parents and drug abuse, stuff like that.
It makes a huge amount of sense when you listen to the lyrics and stuff. Things like shut up when I'm talking to you and things like that. That's a cry for help. That is a cry. A kid that's been neglected or whatever that just is trying to take back some sort of control. So I get it totally, but I don't know why, and I since came to really love that album.
Yeah.
But when I first heard it, I just thought, fucking get this whiny bollocks off the stereo.
In a way,
and that's not because I'm metal as fuck. I'm like, I only listen to Pantera and Metallica.
Oh, no.
It's because at the time, I was only listening to hip-hop.
Yeah.
So I didn't like metal. I loved Guns N' Roses, but I listened to hip-hop religiously. Yeah. So I was like, all of these new metal bands are pussies because they keep whining on about their feelings.
Yeah.
When they should be talking about capping people's asses and robbing drugs and slapping strippers and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's what this is all about. Basically, I was
completely different.
Yeah, I was living in my head. I was living in Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. So I just found it so whiny and whingy. My opinion has changed to it.
Yeah.
I did get it after a while. I was like, oh yeah, shit, and then the riffs, and you hear that.
Yeah.
When, do 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 do. Yeah. When that stuff kicks in, it's so bouncy and infectious, and those screams, I totally get it. I totally get why people just went, oh my god, I love this.
Yeah.
Because it's all that teenage angst that you've got.
A lot of it is.
I feel weird, I feel different, I feel this. And then just being able to stand around with your mates and fucking shut up, just scream. It's just so cathartic.
Yeah, big time. I think I remember being on a school trip when I first started listening to this, and we were just screaming, shut up when I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
It was, it is a big feels album, this.
Mm.
And I think it is a defining point for people like myself who got into rock and metal.
Mm.
Because this had so much, feel to it, so much the popular sort of contemporary stuff at the time, and play on it and make it, more teenage driven.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, you could also say it's like the first emo album. Not album.
It's got emo element, emo elements to it. This album obviously had a massive impact on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I really liked it for a period of time. I have since tried to listen to it this week because I know we were talking about it. I don't. People are going to bitch and moan about it if they ever hear this.
No, it's fine.
But I don't think it holds up very well. I think it's very I think it sounds very 2000. I think it sounds very dated.
It is. If you put it into today's market, it wouldn't stand up.
No, I think
nowhere near.
I mean, obviously the hooks and stuff on it are undeniable. It's got bounce, it's got melody, it's got hooks. I just think, I think it's just the genre really. I think new metal as a genre hasn't aged very well. I mean,
it never did, and I think when you look at the whole new metal thing, obviously, Limp Bizkit are no longer really recording much, are they?
No.
Korn are very dribs and drabs.
Yeah, there's lots. I liked the last Korn album. There's lots of nostalgia for new metal at festivals and things like that. And it's good fun. It's fun because it's bouncy. If you hear it at a festival, if you had a few beers and somebody puts Paper Cut on or Points of Authority, of course I'm going to lose my shit.
Yeah.
But am I going to listen to it on a day-to-day basis anymore? No. Do I go back to it? No.
I very rarely go back to this. I mean, although it was, like I said, the defining point for me, and it should really be an album which I should be going back to because it's what got me into everything. It is it's dreary.
The thing is, it's not. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that. I mean, one of the first albums, like obviously I've said about my sort of history with metal and stuff, but one of the first albums that I ever thought was mine. Because that's a big thing, I think, is to have an album that you go, that's mine. That is.
I think this is, for me, that is what it is. This is my album. Like, this is an album which I could say, this is my album, this is what got me into this.
Yeah.
you know, it is always going to be that anchoring point for me.
Yeah, exactly, and it's that anchoring point for so many people. But that doesn't mean that you necessarily go back to it and go, oh, I still love it, because you're so different. You've changed so much as a person. My first album that I ever went, this is mine, this is my metal album, was, because I got into it so late, was Five Finger Death Punch, Way of the Fist.
Yeah.
So that's only 2007 that came out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's only just over 10 years ago.
Whereas this is 18 years now.
Yeah. That was the first album I was like, that's mine, that album.
Yeah.
I never listen to it anymore because it sounds so daft now.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was the heaviest badass thing in the world when I first heard it.
When I first heard this, I thought this was so badass. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Papercut had such a great riff.
Yeah.
And, you know, you listen to it and think, oh, this is going to scare the shit out of my mates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you think it's the coolest thing in the world because you think it's the heaviest thing in the world. And then you find Gojira, or you find
I found Metallica.
Yeah,
that was it for me.
Or you find Cradle of Filth, or you find like Converge or something like that, and you go, yeah, it's not so heavy.
Yeah,
like you find other stuff.
But this is it. When you progress from this album onto other heavier things, and you really open up your horizons to everything, you kind of instantly lose this.
Yeah. However, so how much impact do you think this album had on metal as a scene?
On metal
and
as
is that
scene,
impact still being felt or not?
I think it only had an impact on metal as a scene on a popularity sort of level. Like, it was always on the radios. In the end, was always on the radios.
Yeah.
So therefore, it pushed the whole rock and metal community forwards, which I think also helped out with the fact of what's it called? The likes of Limp Bizkit, and Korn really helping to push that whole sort of genre forwards. For themselves, they were always going to remain a radio band. So you kind of lose it in a way. People will take to Korn because they've heard of it through Linkin Park.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's either you liked it or you didn't. And a lot of people didn't, because when you have Linkin Park and go, well, I can sing to this, it's bouncy and stuff like this. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely sing and bounce to chord, but for a lot of people it just was too much. I think this album, I actually think this album had a fucking massive impact on metal as a whole, because I think that this album was such a bridging band between the popular and the
nobody's favourite band at first is like Decapitated. It's no one's favourite first band.
Nobody's going to listen to that and go, that's my favourite band.
They're my favourite band if it's the first thing they've ever heard. Like, you need something to get you into it, and I think Linkin Park, this album was, it brought a whole new generation of people into heavier forms of music. I think if you were to
go to, say, like a festival like, I don't know, really obscure one like Creamfields, it's a dance place, trance dance festival. If you put Linkin Park on, I guarantee you most of that crowd will lose their shit.
They'd know it, 100% they'd know it. That's the thing, it kind of transcended metal, really, this album. It wasn't, it was just so big and so omnipresent.
Yeah.
It broke out of metal. Like the Black Album did, it just went boom, we're outside of it, we're bigger than this now. And that's what ended up happening with Linkin Park. They became just bigger than the genre. As
for it sounding, to us, something different, something that bridges the gaps. For the critics, very mixed bag. A lot of them liked it.
Yeah.
But there was an odd thing with, like, NME.
Yeah.
Huge company which you'd think would love the alternative sort of sound. Actually hated this. They thought it was just generic rock music.
Yeah.
They didn't think it was very creative or anything.
But then the NME are pricks, aren't they?
Yeah.
Quite frankly, they're snooty pricks. So, and this was metal by numbers, almost. It was. This. We've talked about Korn a lot, and Korn were the originators of this. Like Korn were Sepultura with Roots and stuff like that. Kind of, that might have been the sort of, first atom of it.
Yeah.
what they did is they took the sound, they took the genre, and they condensed it down to its bare bones.
Yeah.
So it was as palatable and as straight-laced as it possibly could be, and then that's hybrid theory. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I think when you look at it, and then you had the next album, which was Meteor.
Yeah.
And I think that bridged it even more so.
Yeah, that was more poppy. The writing was on the wall from that album to the second when they went, this is going to be a bit more poppy, Somewhere I Belong.
Very, very slightly. And again, I think it's another one that helped bridge gaps.
Mm.
And
I think without hybrid theory, without hybrid theory, maybe the kind of that whole scene that we had with Evanescence and like that sort of stuff, it probably would have, nu metal probably would have died on its arse long before. Had this not popped up and gave it that extra kick in the arse, that extra shot in the arm, we got another little boom burst of nu metal.
And I think you're right on that, big time. But as we were saying earlier, for standing up for today's world, I can't see it standing up anywhere.
Still a great album, and it's
great.
It's still an absolute classic album. And if there's anyone out there that's lived under a rock and likes has got, I don't know, for example, anyone that's got into heavy music or heavier music, and they like, well, anyone really, they like Milk Teeth or Creeper or something like that, and they think, oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to some older sort of music, then I would 100% say give this a listen, because that is going to take you down some wonderful routes. It's going to send you into some spirals with some fucking great bands.
Yeah.
You probably just won't stay with Linkin Park forever.
No, never. I don't think anybody ever sticks with Linkin Park forever.
Oh, I do know one person.
I know one person who does as well, but yeah, I don't think it's a band that you'd ever, have high expectations and going back for.
No.
But so that's that. Well, we'll leave you there then, guys. As forever, get onto the Facebook page, like us. We've got the Instagram page now. We're also on YouTube, obviously, because you're listening to us through YouTube.
On the YouTube.
So, keep it metal.
Yeah.
Love you, Nivea.
Cheery bye.
Boys, bye.